Yeah, hi peeps. A big and serious issue. I want to use our relationship and our marriage, as it were, as an illustration of what I think, perhaps we think, is endemic in the relationships between men and women as a whole. And this is about me coming clean. I have been consistently lying to Anaiya, especially about the subject of porn and especially the subject of ejaculation. I've consistently lied and denied over the 3 years, soon 4 years we've been together. And it's not something I'm proud of, but I can feel the difficulty of this situation is an illustration of what I feel is going on in the masculine as a whole. So this is where I'm starting off. This is not scripted in any kind of way. What I will say is my first contact with porn would have been when I was about 10 years of age. I found a magazine through the railings in a park in London. And since then, it's been a consistent part of my shadow life, as it were. And coupled with, I personally have problems when it comes to initiating lovemaking. This is both with Anaiya and I, and it's been a spook, as it were, in relationships past. So that's the framework of what I want to talk about. I'd see what Anaiya has to say. And it's not easy. It's not. This is bricks and mortar stuff that's insidiously underneath every relationship, I would guess, bar very few.
Well, I think how it's affecting me is I'm able to feel, and very early on, I would say within a week of being together with Pete, I could feel there's something not quite straight, not fully open, not fully revealed. There's something creeping around between us. And of course, we just carried on relating and going deeper. And as you've probably seen a few other videos, we've done one called Sex, the Conversation We're Not Having. This is maybe about a year or so ago. And this was where we hit a point where we just weren't having sex. Neither one of us, it appeared, was kind of interested. We found it a little, I think I said something like boring. It was just awkward. It was awkward. We love each other tremendously. We have a fabulous, soul-to-soul relationship. Two beings of the same generation in this field together. But it felt like to me that the sexual attraction piece was missing. And I feel, combination with menopause and also approaching 50, I feel I took a little bit of a deep dive into a sense of depression, a sense of I'm not desirable, I'm not wanted, my figure, my face, my this, my that and the other. Because I could just feel Pete's disinterest, seeming disinterest. And of course this big empty place where me and him used to get it on and hump.
Ew.
Yeah, that's my piece so far.
Yeah, look, I'm from the kind of classic masculine background. I've been an infantry soldier for 14 and a half years, and the subject of porn and whores and all that kind of stuff, it's like expected of every single man, to be looking at porn, and it's like,
yeah. Okay.
The problem is, it's kind of like there's such sheer shame and guilt in me about this subject. I'm also from a Catholic education background kind of thing. It's like been eating away at me since I was 10 years of age, like this parallel world. And my experience, especially with Anaiya, is pretty much every woman can figure out something's going on, but she can't quite put a finger on it. And it's kind of like, it means that she can't quite trust her man, and she doesn't feel safe with her man because something's going on she can't see, and she will jump to conclusions about what it is, often coming up with a whole set of stories which are semi-right or wrong, doesn't matter. But the fact is, she, because she's not feeling safe, cannot open fully to her partner. Anaiya cannot open fully to me. Why should she? Because underneath, in the shadows, is this spectre, a ghost, that has got my attention.
For example, I'll give you a few funny instances. And this is why I sense it's not me making Pete come clean. No, it's something greater than us. Yeah. For instance, we're driving away in the car, having a great time. Pete's a little bit not quite sure where we're going. He chucks me his phone and says, do me a favour, look on Google Maps, check I've got the right road. So I scroll, put in his number, et voila! something of the porny nature. And of course we might have people in the car, so I'm doing my best to kind of not say anything, but at some point really soon I'm going to say, check this out. But what he has done is gone, no, glitch in Facebook, glitch on YouTube, not me. I'm like, all right, let it go. A couple of months later, hey, do me a favour, call so-and-so and tell him we're going to be late. Chucks me his phone, scroll, open, et voila, here we go again. By the time the second time's here, I'm like, this isn't a glitch. He has this, recent search. This is what he has been looking at. So I present it again, and he denies it again to my face for a long period of time. And I'm saying, Petey, evidence. And he's like, no, mistake. So the third time come around, and this was recently, and I'll tell you the whole story because it's starting to be funny. I kicked the dog bowl over, water everywhere. I reached for a towel in the basket, dirty old towel, put my hand on something wet and warm. I go, ew, what's this? Sniff to see what it is. I know what this smell is. And so I mop up the water. Pete comes in. I'm like, Petey, we need to talk. I've just put my hand in this. I know exactly what this substance is. He denied it. No. And I'm like, well, who is it? The builder? Because we did have a builder in that day. And I'm like, of course it's not the builder. It has to be Pete. There is no other man around here. It has to be Pete. Anyway, a quiet voice in me, and this wasn't my snooping voice. I swear to God on this one. A quiet voice said, ask to see his phone. In that kind of manner, neutral. Ask to see his phone, even if he's going to call you every name under the sun to not trust him. So I said, Pete, can I see your phone, please? Rup, open it up. Recent search history. Et voila. Now we have something else. Now we have gay porn. And once again, Pete, look, this is what you've been looking at. No, and of course, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. To my face. Now that is the piece, beloved friends. That is the piece that makes me A, angry, B, terribly worried and sad and concerned and excuse my French right now, what the fuck is going on? How can he lie so endlessly to my eyes when I'm up to here with evidence? I don't have a problem with him looking at gay porn. I don't think he's gay for 1 minute. Even if he is, it really doesn't matter. I've been sexually adventurous myself. I've often wondered whether I am and tried and all of that. It's not that. It's not the fact he's looking. That is in there. The big thing is how he can stand before me and say, I didn't look at that. This is not my search. This is not my history of looking on YouTube or whatever. And that's the piece that literally digs into the ground of my being and turfs it up. So there's my piece.
Yeah, I mean, why I wanted to do this video, why I wanted to do the come clean thing. It's like this is something that porn and ejaculation are something pandemic around the world that's actually like a third person in the relationship. It's actually turning what otherwise is the most amazing, beautiful connection into something that's not trustable. And it's, you know, the risk, of course, if it was anyone else, the risk would be I'd be gone, I'd be out of here. You know, why should Anaiya ever fucking trust me again? Because I've consistently lied. Why should she? You know? And for my part, that sickening, as I'm sure most guys know, that sickening feeling of never being trusted. It's like no matter how clean and how correct I've been on every other subject, this one is my Achilles heel. And I would suggest it's the Achilles heel of almost every single guy in the world. And what's going on? Lots of lights went on for me. I'm reading this book called Cupid's Poison Arrow. And it's talking about that it takes up to maybe even more than 14 days for the man and the woman after orgasm to come back to a kind of stasis where everything is healthy in the way it should be, optimally in the body. And in the 2-week period, it shows in graph form highs and lows of what happens, not just chemically within the guy in this case, but also how that affects his hormones. And that means how he is to be with in a relationship. And I can track, it's like lights going on. I could track driving in the car. I'm feeling pissed off and angry and frustrated at something, and there's no reason for me to be that at all. But having read this book, I'm going, it's been 7 days since such and da. That's why. And apparently, according to her research in the book, the genetic imperative that, you know, we are trying to reproduce. Genes don't care about love. They don't care about long-term partnerships. They just want to procreate. And part of the chemistry, the fallout, as it were, after orgasm, is that it turns the partners away from each other so that she and he can find other partners, and so getting the best possible gene pool. You know, that's how come humans are so successful. Interestingly enough, you know, since this happened between us, I'm on a 90-day non-ejaculation by choice. It was Anaiya's idea, but I absolutely behind this. 90-day no ejaculation. It doesn't mean no lovemaking. It just means no ejaculation. And what happens is, instead of procreative urge, it's a bonding urge. The act, the lovemaking becomes so much wider in context, you know, and it's a beautiful culmination, if you were, of the total environment between us. Interesting.
I would love to add a little bit more. Obviously, we've been thrashing this one out quite a lot. And, you know, Pete's been like, there's something in it for you. Because my stance at the beginning was, you know, Pete, I do Sacred Body Awakening. I too have a very sexual mind. I'm a visual person. I am also very excited by the more erotic sides of life. And I know that I have been in situations of a healing nature where I'm truly holding often naked space for women, mostly women. Perhaps in the future, men will be there too. Now, I can't afford for that kind of imagery to overlay the person I'm with. So what I've done is kind of, I'm very conscious of what comes into my field. I do not want to arouse to the more erotic part of me when I'm holding space for a lady who is placing 101% trust in me whilst I hold her naked body and perhaps work around her sexuality and her nakedness, basically. So that is the kind of life I've presented for myself. So, and that was what I was saying, Pete, I can't afford to have this kind of stuff in the house. And he's like, there's more in it for you. Look deeper, look deeper. So I did. And of course, we're on this fast. And I remember when I was perhaps 13, where a guy of 15 years old encouraged me to come into the bushes outside the swimming pool, which I did freely, didn't force me. I freely went in. I don't think he was my boyfriend. All I know was he took my hand and put it over his penis and got me to go up and down. I did not know anything about this. I was a little bit curious about the penis, like, hey, this is great, this is fun. But then obviously it got faster and faster and faster, and he ejaculated and it went all over my school jumper. Now, I did not know the ejaculation was coming. I thought I'd hurt him. I thought this was like white blood. I was really shocked and surprised and worried and concerned. And then it went on the school jumper. There was something about it being on the school jumper that made me go into shame. I knew that stuff shouldn't have been on the school jumper, and I had to get it off before I went home. That's one occasion. That was still rustling around, causing emotions. The next one was when I was about 24 years old. I got a job in the fashion industry, and I got backed into a corner slowly over time, slowly. I'm getting paid well. I've got a good position. I'm going to Paris. And then, I don't know how it happened, but I know that my boss said, if you want your money tonight, you're going to have to wank me off again in the car park, in the middle of nowhere. And so I did. And I did it weekly because he did the same thing again. If you want your money, you're going to have to wank me off. I feel very, very, very sick saying all of this. I realized at the time I hated him for that. I realized in my 30s I hated him for that. I realized in my 40s I hated him for that. But 2 days ago I really fucking hated him for that. And this just came out because of the 21 days and all the cleansing and detoxing that we're doing. So I just really got into contact with that. Out came the anger. But then I'm like, hang on a minute, redial. Where was my frigging fierce feminine during those times? Well, of course, I hadn't developed it at all. I'm 24 years old. I'm grateful for the job. I'm grateful for the money. I'm going to Paris, for God's sake. But I later found out that this had happened to the girl before me, and because I was silent, it no doubt happened to the girl after me. And I often wonder, how much further did it go? And this, putting my hand on the towel, finding porn, it's something, I call it sicky. It's like a sicky sexuality. Little bit sleazy, little bit secretive, little bit hidden. This energy turns me into a porcupine. Fata! All my spines are up, and I'm detecting, because I simply don't want to come into contact with that man again. I don't mean that man, that boss, that quality of man that can so coerce you into a corner, and you're playing the game back. You're playing the game back. I don't want that part of me to ever be active. I don't want to meet that quality in a man again. I'm getting a drive-by with Pete. I'm getting to feel all of those wonderful feelings again. So it is a win-win situation. It's frigging hard, and it's volatile. But we're doing it.
Really, really great insights. One last burst from me. There's a lot going on in the background here. There's a lot of stuff going on with us guys. We're not I want to say I can feel the physical pull every day in me of a sexual nature. And I know in me, there's always been a voice in the back of my head, which is something like, you haven't had sex for quite some time. Oh, it's okay. It's okay to jerk off. It's understandable. And it's this little boy victim voice that's stronger than my will to not jerk off. And I'm, fuck's sake, 56, 57 this year. This started when I was 10. How strong that voice has been, it's only now I'm having to call myself, because of my love for Anaiya, because I really want this, I'm having to find the strength to override that fucking victim voice. So the last thing I want to say with this is, couples out there, ladies, show your blokes this fucking video and get to talk about it. There's so much corrupt and going on in the background of this, and it's probably what's preventing even more depth between you. Guys, I ask you to reach for the courage that we're supposedly known for, the old Templar codes and all that bollocks. I want you to reach for the truth and fess up, at least to yourself, your relationship with porn, and especially your relationship to ejaculation. I also challenge you, I don't know how many days I've got left, something like 17 days gone, of a 90-day non-ejaculation. I dare you to do it alongside me. Pardon the pun.
Thank you, everybody. Very confessional, very open and trusting. I just hope this conversation does its healing in a big way for everybody.
All right, so I lied again. I got a bit more to say.
Oh, shit.
But you know, we're both, and most couples are in a choice point in this point in history. This is the conversation we need to have for us to be able to move deeper in conversation. There's no thing I can say to Anaiya to get her to trust me again. I must consistently work with every facet of my being in being trustworthy for myself first, and so that she can feel that I am worthy of her trust, trustworthy. Yeah? And why should any woman trust a guy ever again? Yeah? And she'd be quite right not to. However, if we want to go forward, if ladies want to be met by the best in their partners, perhaps they too are going to have to put their big girl pants on as well and reach deeper than the wounded girl that is perhaps in the background of the ladies. That's it. It's enough from me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can't wait to read
Show this
comments.
to the partners. Get it going.